Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be studying about archaeology. So what is archaeology? Archaeology is the recovery of past, the study of past or its reconstruction from the surviving traces of former society and the material remains. As we have studied before in the previous video, we saw it is one of the sources of history, and as a source, it studies the material remains, what is being used and left by the man, discarded or maybe buried somewhere. So these are the things that comes under archaeology. So archaeology is concerned with the material vestiges of man that involves everything made by human beings, from simple tools to machines and from huts to splendid palaces. Of course, the materials just not just concern about the tools and the things they use, but also the palaces, because that was also man-made, right? So everything that has been man-made and that is related to past, all that is covered under archaeology. So it covers the material aspects, also provides information about socio-economic and cultural and political life of the ancestors. How? Because if the society was rich back then, for example, the palaces would be built, there would be a lot of gold and silver and jewelries there. The things, the pots, for example, would be of very good quality and very good nature. But if the society was very poor or very prehistoric, they would be huts that would also be very rundown and all that. So we can see how the society was at that time with the help of the materials that have been found. Moving on, the next topic is the relationship of archaeology with the various natural sciences. The first one being geology. So, geo means earth, and geology is mainly concerned with the earth below its surface. How geography studies earth above the surface. So, geology is the study below the surface, and it's related to archaeology because archaeology also finds the material remains from below the surface of the earth only, especially the excavated sites. The palaces and all the homes and everything, they are on top, but some of the things are also buried down below, right? So the excavation is done, and geology helps here. So geology, first, this sentence was important to me because archaeology begins where geology ends, because see, geology is concerned with earth and archaeology is concerned with what the material remains buried in the earth. So archaeology, first geologist discovers first when the first sites were discovered, they were probably discovered by geologists only, because they when they were going through the soil and everything, and they found the remains of man. So they found the studies was done during the 17th century, and it started during the 17th century, and 17th and 18th century were the beginning. 19th century was the main time when everything just kicked off for the archaeology. So ancient man walked on earth for a long time, but first it had to be discovered, right, from under the earth, because humans will not be found above the earth. So their discovery needed to be done through geology. And some of the elements of geology are stratigraphy and lithology. So we don't have to do this in detail, but just remember the names and everything. And geology represents the vertical dimensions and is important to archaeology. इतना लिख दोगे तो बस बहुत हो जाएगा. You don't have to go into very deep details and everything. Moving up, we come to geography. Now, as I said before, anything on space above the surface of the earth and below the atmosphere, actually out of the atmosphere as well, it is all from geography. So geography, the elements of geography mark the archaeological sites. When archaeology is done for the sites, these excavations are supposed to be done. They need to verify the sites and mark the sites that are very important and the safest to excavate, because some of the sites cannot be excavated, and some of the sites, if excavated, not many remains would be found. So the scientist, the archaeologist, they only excavate the sites which have the highest chances of the most number of remains being found. So isme geography helps them a lot. So the concept of territory, cultural area, nuclear area, they all comes from geography. How we study the society back then, how people lived, they lived in tribes and all, or they lived separated, or they lived on heights, or they lived near the sea more. This all comes under geography only. So it's not that geography itself just presents. An archaeologist first find everything, and then they pass it on to people who study geography, and then they study everything and they put their theories. It's not like that. So when someone is studying something, they need to have knowledge from all of the other disciplines as well, which relate to their own discipline. So that's why archaeologists need the knowledge of these other disciplines as well. One thing is, with the help of geography, we can also study how the environment affects the people, and people affects the environment. For example, people how affect the environment. They burn things, they pollute the environment, or they make things, or they mine and take out gold and silver from under the earth. So they affect the environment in some or the other way, positive or negative. And similarly, environment also affects the people. Now environment doesn't really harm much, but when it harms, it has big harms. For example, a volcanic eruption, or a wildfire or something. So environment also affects. So everything has a positive and a negative effect on each other. So that also studies, that also comes under the relationship between geography and archaeology. Next is how physics and chemistry help archaeology and are related to it. See, when in order to find the objects, we need the tools. The tools, they all come under physics. So that's how the direct relation is there. Otherwise, there is electromagnetic resonance, which helps locate the buried objects like metals and everything. Then other devices like GPS, satellite imaging are used to locate the sites. This all forms a part of physics. Next is chemistry. How is chemistry used? See, when the objects are taken out, they need to be tested. They need to figure out the date. So dating is done through carbon 14 dating. This is part of chemistry. And then some of the objects, they need to be dipped into some chemical substances to preserve them, or to clear their images and everything. So that is how chemistry and physics helps archaeology. So this last topic under archaeology and natural sciences are botany and zoology. Now this topic I do not have much knowledge of, so I'm just going to go through what I've written. Zoology is what humans, and botany is plants. So zoology helps archaeology deal with fossil bones and animal remains, and botany helps identify the plants and all the crops and everything, and how that affected the human culture and civilization of that time. With zoology, there is one thing, like humans did not always look like we do right now, right? Especially the prehistoric human and before that, the humans, they were Australopithecus and Homo erectus, if you remember. They used to have different features than we do. So zoology helps identify how the humans looked at that particular period of time, and how their lifestyle and culture and everything was during different times, and relate them to each other, like compare and everything. So that's how botany and zoology helps archaeology. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and be right back with archaeology and its relationship with social sciences, which would be the last topic of archaeology from first unit. There is also another topic called Paleolithic age, so that would be for another set of videos. Thank you.